Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thank you so much for being here Friday, January 24th. Tampa, they are big mad right now about this situation, and I'm not here to gloat about it at all. I'm here to talk about what I think is a situation that Liam Cohen absolutely did nothing wrong. I don't think the Jaguars did anything wrong. If anything, Tampa was the only faction, the Buccaneers, that were a little bit not in the wrong, but they were trying to hold the man down. So we're going to talk about Liam Cohen, this kind of back and forth with what happened over the last, I don't even know how many hours it's been, 48 hours, whatever. Talk about why I'm excited that he's in Jacksonville. All that good stuff here today. And again, it hasn't been officially announced by the team that he is the head coach yet, but he's the head coach, right? He is absolutely the head coach. He's told the Buccaneers he's taking the job, and everybody's reporting that he's taking the job. So it's all but done. Liam Cohen is going to be the Jaguars head coach. If you missed my reporting last night, we covered it kind of at length. But now, again, I want to talk about just kind of the misinformation about a lot of stuff, kind of the hypocrisy that we've seen from maybe some Tampa Bay media and fans, certainly. Maybe even from the Buccaneers, from what we're hearing from inside that building. So one thing I want to start with, Liam Cohen was at the hospital with his sick child yesterday. He also came to Jacksonville to interview for the Jaguars job. His wife felt so attacked on Twitter that she tweeted, "I hate that I even have to say this, but when people are negative about my kids, I will not be silent. Our son is sick. We were at the hospital yesterday seeing a specialist for his autoimmune disease. Please don't spread misinformation and assume because you heard one side." I mean, this is awful that Ashley Cohen had to defend her family because of misinformation that's out there, right? Because of one side having sour grapes and wanting to say, make Liam Cohen out to be a liar. No, absolutely not. And how much I've seen folks make light of that situation. Look, I'm a father. That pisses me off. It really does. Thinking about it gets me fired up. So I want to move on from that subject, but it's absolutely ridiculous. And then, look, Shad Khan was wrong for not firing Trent Baalke earlier. And I haven't said this enough. I have said it before, but anytime we're talking about someone's job, I hate being so flippant about it. But that's the bottom line. Coaches don't want to work with Trent Baalke. He survives. Coaches don't. And so coaches don't want to work with him. It's happened over and over and over and over again where he survives and coaches don't. So they didn't want to work with him. Multiple coaches. Shad Khan finally decided, enough is enough. And so they made the right decision after Liam Cohen backed out of his commitment to interview with the Jaguars on Wednesday, right? So Shad Khan was wrong about that from a decision-making standpoint. But, to me, Tampa trying to say, we're going to offer you this new contract, we're going to make you the highest paid offensive coordinator in football, but it's contingent upon you not taking this second interview. I mean, you're trying to hold a man back, right? And he didn't sign that contract, by the way. He verbally agreed to it. But you're in a position where, okay, Jags have Trent Baalke. I'm not comfortable with that situation. I'm not going to interview for that job. I'm going to sign this deal. And then the Jags situation changes massively. It's basically an entirely new coaching situation. Like, you're not under the thumb of Trent Baalke anymore. You're not dealing with that looming specter. You're also being offered massive amounts of money. You're also being offered massive amounts of autonomy. The situation changed. He never signed that deal with Tampa. And in my mind, like, getting mad because you were trying to hold someone back, they verbally agreed with you. Then they got offered their dream job. I think it's ridiculous. And you see this, it's public, right? It's a very public situation. You see employers trying to hold employees back from moving on to bigger and better things all the time in the private sphere. Happened with my wife, right? All the time this happens. And look, when you get offered a better job, you have to take it for you and your family, as long as you're comfortable with that job. At first, Liam Cohen was not comfortable with the job. He became comfortable after the Jags moved on from Trent Baalke. And again, people talk, oh, lack of communication, lack of transparency. When he told the Buccaneers he wasn't going to interview with the Jaguars for the second time, he was being honest. But again, the situation changed. It was fluid. He's also dealing with his child not having to see a specialist, right? He communicated with them on the day he interviewed with the Jaguars. Like, he communicated with them. Again, I think Tampa trying to hold him back from following his dreams is really the only story here. And Tampa Bay fans and media and everyone involved is just having sour grapes. And look, I didn't see anyone in Jacksonville or anywhere else complain about his integrity when he backed out of his commitment to interview with the Jaguars for the second time. He was scheduled to interview with the Jaguars on Wednesday. He said thanks, but no thanks. I didn't see anyone up in arms about, oh, well, he had a commitment with the Jaguars to interview for this job. Shame on him. What a snake. No. Because this is a fluid situation. NFL jobs, there's only 32 head coaching jobs in the world, in the NFL, right? This is the pinnacle of a sport. He had a great opportunity in Jacksonville, and he took advantage of it here. And make no mistake about it, it is a great job. You have Trevor Lawrence, you have Brian Thomas Jr., you have a lot of talent throughout the rest of the roster. And look, I think that talent has been mismanaged and misused. If you're saying that, then you're like, oh, well, you think Trent Baalke did a good job? No, I don't think Trent Baalke did a good job. I think that over the last 4 years, Trent Baalke has had more resources than anyone from a salary cap standpoint and draft capital standpoint to build a true contender. He hasn't done that. He's built a team that can compete for the playoffs, right? Maybe if everything falls into place perfectly and Trevor Lawrence is out on an absolute heater, which would require better coaching than what you've seen in Jacksonville, you could see things that happen like the end of the 2022 season. But it's not a great roster. It's a good roster. He's had a great amount of resources to build what is ultimately a slightly above average roster overall. Great potential within that roster. I think with better coaching, you could see that roster really compete at a high level. And now Liam Cohen's going to have an opportunity to coach those guys up with whoever he makes his defensive coordinator, his entire staff. That's going to be fun to see how that plays out. And then you've also got the GM piece of it where Liam Cohen's going to be able to really work with Shad Khan and company to help find the GM and pick the GM. You've also got Tony Baselli involved, which is fantastic. I don't know that he should be an EVP or a football czar or whatever, president of football operations, but he definitely should be involved. Absolutely. And then Ethan Waugh still involved. He's the interim GM right now. Could he remain assistant GM? Whatever. We'll see how that plays out. But these guys, they're going to have resources. They're going to have flexibility within the cap. They're going to have a ton of draft capital. And again, a roster that's already ready to compete. You add a few more pieces here and there, and you're cooking. So I'm really fired up. I think Liam Cohen's a great football man, great coach, very good for Trevor Lawrence. I think his personality, which, he has a presence about him, but he's not overbearing. I think he's pretty casual, pretty calm, cool, and collected, but also very detailed and hyper focused. So I'm really fired up about it. And he's just an offensive innovator. Like the way, and you hear that word all the time. What does that mean? The way he sees things with what his offense has going on versus a defense, he's able to change things on the fly and coach it up really well and get through to his guys. And so I think that he's going to do a tremendous job offensively with the Jaguars. There's a lot of challenges that come with being a head coach in the NFL, but he's going to be supported by his owner. He's going to be supported by the city of Jacksonville. He's got a good quarterback and wide receiver duo to help him out. I think Liam Cohen's going to have success. We'll see how it ends up playing out. Just wanted to talk to y'all about kind of what's going on with all the drama, my opinion on it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Really appreciate y'all supporting the channel. Have a good one.